Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on Ryu Jose.
Yeah, specifically Ryu in Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin.
We're digging into the manga, the OVA, and kind of comparing it back to the '79 original.
The goal is really to understand his weight in this version, this reimagining. He's key on the white base.
Absolutely.
Right.
More than just a pilot, maybe. Like an emotional anchor sometimes.
Definitely. And The Origin treats him a little differently, which really matters.
Okay, so let's paint a picture. The Origin shows him as this big, stocky guy. Latino.
Yeah. Dusky complexion. There's fan talk, about mixed heritage, maybe Japanese and Latino, like Brazilian Japanese.
Who kind of fits Gundam's diverse future thing.
It does. He's Federation, joins the white base crew after that Side 7 attack. Standard stuff there.
But here's a twist from The Origin, right? The Federation already had some mobile suits. Gun tanks, gun cannons. Before the war really kicked off.
Exactly. That's a big change. It means Ryu, well, he may have actually seen or known about these things beforehand.
Unlike the original, where everyone's pretty much blindsided by mobile suits.
Right. So his starting point, his understanding of the tech, might be subtly different, even if he mainly ends up in the core fighter.
Okay, let's talk personality. Sources call him gentle, caring, a real comrade.
Yeah, he's the bridge, isn't he, between Bright, who's all military discipline,
And the terrified teenagers, basically. Amuro, Kai, Hayato, Fra.
and The Origin leans into this. There's that specific scene you remember.
Oh yeah, after Sale is arrested, Kai and Hayato, they're ready to bolt.
And Ryu physically stops them, like puts himself in the way.
That moment really wasn't in the original like that, was it? It shows his authority, his commitment.
Totally. It cements his role before things get really bad. And he's
Yeah.
also there for Amuro, giving advice, support. Amuro's under insane pressure.
You need someone like Ryu in that situation. Someone who gets the military side and the human side.
That intervention is maybe the clearest example in The Origin of just how vital he was to keeping that crew from fracturing early on.
So narratively, he starts as a solid core fighter pilot, defending the ship.
And the white base's route is different, too, in The Origin. West Coast, U.S., Mexico, Andes.
Right, the Garma encounters in L.A., I think.
Yeah.
Then they head south to Jaburo.
And Ryu's in the thick of the fighting along that whole journey. The Rambaral stuff, that happens in the Andes in this version.
Wow, okay. So he's present for all that.
Yep. But that desertion scene we mentioned, that's a standout origin moment for Ryu. Shows his importance way before the end.
Does emphasizing that make his eventual loss hit harder for the audience, you think?
I think it does. You see his active contribution to morale, not just shooting things down.
Speaking of shooting, units piloted. Primarily the core fighter, yeah. But that's his main job.
Definitely. He's crucial for the ship's defense in that thing.
But with the gun tanks and gun cannons existing earlier, did he ever pilot those in The Origin?
It's a fair question. The sources, though, they really stick to him being the core fighter guy. Suggest specialization, maybe.
Yeah, makes sense. He's the dedicated interceptor, the close defender for the ship.
Keeps that role consistent. Tactical support.
Okay, which brings us to the tough part. His final sacrifice, Crawley Hammond.
Yeah, after Rambaral's death, Hammond's out for revenge, specifically targeting Amuro in the Gundam.
And Ryu sees it happening.
And makes the call. He crashes his core fighter straight into Hammond's unit.
Saves Amuro, but that's it for Ryu.
Gone. And the Origin manga shows the aftermath really rawly. Grief, yeah, but also guilt.
Didn't Amuro and Hayato actually get into a fight? Like, physically?
They did. It shows just how much Ryu's death destabilized everything. He was the mediator, and suddenly he's not there.
That absence is felt immediately. The posthumous promotion feels, well, symbolic is the word.
Very symbolic. The real impact is that immediate chaos and conflict among the crew, he usually calmed down.
So wrapping this up, in The Origin, Ryu Jose is. He's more than just a good pilot. He's that essential emotional support, that bit of discipline holding the crew together.
Yeah, and The Origin makes that explicit with moments like stopping the desertion. It adds layers, makes his sacrifice even more significant.
It really fleshes out why he mattered so much to that specific crew in that specific situation.
The Origin gives him his due, you could say, shows his vital role beyond just being another soldier.
Okay, here's something to think about. How much can these small, or maybe not so small, changes in a character's backstory or key actions like we see with Ryu here totally shift how we feel about a story we thought we knew?
It really makes you appreciate how retelling, reimagining can bring new depth to familiar faces.
Makes you see the whole picture differently. Anyway, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.